Oh, there it is. Now we're live. Hey, aloha. Welcome, everyone. This is the Galactic Shamans live tarot and energy reading. So I'm Jason Donaldson. I'm a psychotherapist, SecChem practitioner, spirit guide mentor. I offer 3, 6, and 9-month programs to help you embody your spirit self. And I'm here with Deepa Lamb from Let's Evolve Together Tarot. Deepa is a psychic medium through tarot, Akashic records, spirit communication, and light language. And we're here today to offer these live tarot card readings to help navigate whatever we're going through right now in this moment, which right now is the lunar eclipse in Scorpio coming up tomorrow, actually. And I'm sure a lot of us are already feeling that. I know I've had a lot of emotion come up. I'm still feeling it right now. And I'm curious to see what'll come through as we do this session today. And whoever jumps on and wants a reading, the readings are $28. There'll be a Venmo link in the comments and also in the description. So there's also a Cash App link as well. And so we'll also be doing a collective reading probably at some point. And the theme for today is intuitive flow. And so there was a list of all these things that I kind of channeled as far as, well, it was channeled of what the new earth is. And, there's many descriptions of that, but there was themes that came through, a list of them. And so we're just going down the list, and today is intuitive flow. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. I'm not even sure what that means yet fully. We'll be channeling that as well and see what the cards bring forth and the energy that's present.
Aloha. Sorry, my microphone was off. Discombobulated morning. Yes, so I was thinking actually maybe we should start by doing a little tune in to the current energy, because then we can let people come in and go from there. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna make sure I got a link
Okay.
here in the comments on my page. I have the link in the description of my page, but see if I can comment with the link. We're sorry, our apologies. We're still figuring all this out. It'd be awesome to just hire somebody to like set everything up and be like, oh, don't do it that way. That's crazy. And you can do it like this. I'm actually putting that out there for my business. Is like somebody can help me with navigating all the technology. It'd probably be a millennial or someone even younger. Like 10-year-old. If I had a 10-year-old out there, I'd probably hook everything up. You're like, bro, what are you doing? Do this.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's in the description, so you'll be able to find it if anybody's on my page.
Okay.
So yeah, we're broadcasting on Jason Donaldson Healer and also Let's Evolve Together. We'll see. Yeah, do you want to get right into doing a collective reading, or you want to talk a little about like what we personally been experiencing leading up to this? Or
yeah, let's start with that, because we were already talking about that before the show, and I think there's a lot of value and depth in it.
Okay. Oh, are these all the comments today?
This is yeah. Are you able to see them on StreamYard or YouTube?
I see them now. Yeah, I was on private chat. I see Jacqueline's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Jacqueline.
I'm so grateful. I've learned to follow my intuition. It really helps me in the flow of magic. Yeah, absolutely. It's scary as hell to the ego and the mental body, though. It's like, oh, where's my next meal going to come from? Or what am I doing? Or what does this mean? And, and it freaks out. But it saved my ass so many times, my intuition, when I just trust and flow. So I'll start, I guess, with what's up for me. I sometimes maybe I share too much, but I like to be honest and upright. I like to share from a place of I'm not a guru, I'm not a master, I'm not nothing other than like a human being that's trying his best to be in self-mastery. And what's been leading up for me with this, hey Carol, with these energies is I had a relationship, and it was really painful for me because I really worked hard to be in my heart and to really choose love, even when there was all these judgments available and things that I didn't like. And maybe I did that too much to where it just wasn't working, but I kept trying to make it work and see that person as the wonderful being they are, which they are. And there was other things that were just not really working, and she felt it too. And so she was more the impetus of like, this isn't working, and yeah, we need to like separate. And so I'm just feeling that, like, because I dove so deep into that love and I opened my heart up so much, and just to feel that when it seems to be gone. And honestly, the only reason I was able to do that is because I had it inside of me first. I connected to that love in me, and then I saw this other being that was like, oh, because I knew her for a while, but I wasn't receptive to the love with her. I was just like, I had all these ideas of who she was, but when I was in my heart, I saw the true essence of her. I saw this beauty and this amazing being that she is. And I always try to remember this love is in me. It's not about her, but I started making it about her, like we all do, is like this association, a literal, like, well, every time I feel really good, she's around, it must be her. And then now that she's not around as much, I feel that, like, that longing, and like I need to have her to be happy. But that's where a lot of pain would come from, trying to make something be outside of me. And same with, like, the theme of the intuitive flow is like, I need to say $5,000 a month to live. That would be great, honestly. But honestly, I don't. The universe is like, no, you don't. You got everything you need. And if you need more, it'll be provided. Like Bashar says, abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And that's like, that could be tomorrow. I need $1,000 to fix my car, and it'll just show up. And to the ego, to the intellect, to a rational mind, that sounds like idiocy. It sounds like a lunatic. Like, how is $1,000 going to show up? But it often does, or something else will show up where somebody's able to fix it on the cheap, kind of thing. So that's a little bit of my processing, what's coming up, and just a lot of the emotion and the old patterns I used to cope with that emotion of even like drinking. Like, I used to drink a lot when I was younger, and I found myself having a couple drinks here and there this last week, and even going out with some friends and doing, like, it was just supposed to be meeting a friend to have a drink and then like play this trivia game. And it turned in sitting at a table with like 10 other people drinking and doing the things I used to do and joking and laughing. And, I didn't drink a whole lot. It was like, I never drink more than 3 because I used to have a problem with it, but it was 3. And I was like wanting to go more. And that was that devil card we got last time, where it was the devil and the star. And the whole time doing it, I was in the realization of what I'm doing. And I was like, oh yeah, this isn't something I want to continue doing. And I see where this was an old pattern because I'm feeling this emotion. This is what I do when I'm emotional. But now more and more, it's like, oh, I can breathe and I can be present with the emotion and I can be okay with it. And so, and at the same time, there's this thing that rears its head that's like, well, this is what we always do. We should do this. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go do that, but I'm not going to do it in the same way. And so I wanted to share that with everyone, that if you're going through intensity right now, if like old addiction patterns are coming up, things of that nature, that's what I'm experiencing as well. And we're also probably navigating it very differently. Like, you may notice that whatever it is, even if you partook in it, you did it differently, or you're more aware of it. And sometimes things come up like that, like relapse is part of recovery, they say. Like, sometimes they'll come back to visit, and a lot of times it's for us to like realize, oh yeah, I don't really like this anymore. Now I remember why I don't do that. Now I remember why I don't smoke or why I don't drink or whatever that is. And so be gentle with yourself, and it's okay. It's not, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us. And sometimes we want to just do things and it's okay.
Yeah, thank you. And I do think that leads us right into the Scorpio lunar eclipse, because Scorpio energy is about the deep dive. And it's the deep dive into our stuff and how we cope with our stuff. So, Carol, I'm just putting your comment up. Also, Scorpio has to do with, yes, what did we do before to cope that maybe wasn't healthy, but so addictive patterns, but it also has to do with alternate ways of healing the body, mind, and soul. So Scorpio energy actually can point us toward alternative healing. So that would be like sound healing or acupuncture or you name it, right? Aromatherapy or reflexology or whatever it might be, yoga, meditation, and asks us to try different ways of coping and use things that might feel supportive and loving and not send us down that road where we feel like we regret ourselves or what we did even more the next day. So it sends us down like this spiral of remorse. And it's almost like we want those cravings and those old addictive patterns want company. And so they call us back to them. And then we're feeling it, even worse than we were the day before. So it's like, how instead can we feel those things coming up, like you said, but respond in a new way? And that would be like the new earth choice. Like, okay, I'm noticing I'm feeling really emotional and I'm craving some company. So let's choose some healthy company, some supportive company, and choosing which friend you want to go out with as an alternate decision, different decision. So that would be that kind of thing. Or instead of drinking, I'm going to go take a yoga class, something that simple.
No, I wanted to drink, so I did.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about. Like if you're
Yeah.
trying not to, and you're doing it too much, kind of thing, too often.
Well, no, I think Scorpio is just offering us a choice.
Yeah, well, it's Pluto and death too, right? I mean, Pluto
Yeah.
is Scorpio, and so, and it's the dark, not dark, but the hidden things emerging, bubbling up to the surface. Like the tarot card, the moon. Like I always thought of that as like that Scorpio energy, where you see the things crawling out of the depths of the deep water, and you got the polarity of the two tower or the towers, and I think there's a wolf and a crab and stuff in there, but it's just really like primal, like like sexual, deep, powerful, unstable almost, and totally awesome. I don't know, I just always love Scorpios and Scorpio energy. It's like a little dangerous, little like weapons and the intensity.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking to a new friend I made on Instagram who's an astrologist, and we were talking about water signs. And I said, Pisces energy always throws me under the bus. And Pisces rules the 12th house. But whenever I go through anything relating to a Pisces transit or Pisces season, there's nothing in me that can operate the way that I'm used to operating. So like, here's my structure, here's my flow. I just end up going into this weird dreamlike space, and I don't know where I am or what's up or what's down. And I just need to like watch movies. I literally can't do anything else. I always feel so incapable. And I was like, I think I take Scorpio energy any day over Pisces. I can handle Scorpio. I understand Scorpio. Pisces, I feel like my mind, it's almost like a lobotomy. Is that like when they take your brain out? It's like literally like a brainwash. There's no mind. I don't know. Maybe it's good. So.
They stick something and bang into this part of the frontal lobe. And, make it where you're more docile and really you just can't think as clearly. You're disconnected from parts of the
disconnected from reality.
Yeah, well, part of the receiver of interacting here for sure.
Aloha, is it Yusra 132? Welcome in.
Yeah, welcome.
But I like Scorpio energy because it always gets me working, which is my one big passion in life. How can I transmute? How can I work through this? How can I process? It's definitely like when big stuff comes up, it's not like I'm running after it in glee and joy and like skipping. I mean, it's intense. It's just that I that's why I'm here to move through this stuff and transmute this stuff. And it, to me, makes life worth living. Like if there's not something to churn up or to transmute or to process, I get really bored. So like I would rather do a deep dive where I have things to work with than, feel like there's nothing to move against. I need that pressure to move with something. So it's almost like that energy of like a coal turning into a diamond, where you want that process, that alchemy to grow yourself. Because I mean, otherwise for me, it's like I'm just like spinning my wheels here, you know? So definitely Scorpio energy is so beneficial in that way. It's 11:11 right now.
Sweet.
Well, on my clock, which is 5 minutes slow. No, it's on my clock.
Oh yeah, because my clock is 16. I was like, what? In your reality.
Yeah, in my reality, it's 11:11.
So it's important in your reality. We're all creating our own reality.
That's so true.
So yeah, if anybody wants a reading, they're $28, and we're gonna tune in not only to the tarot cards but also to your energy field, and so we'll be able to help with confirmation or even some insights into how to assist with whatever you're going through, or maybe activations or parts of self that you would like confirmation of. It's hard to say what comes through a lot of times. You know, you can ask your question and we'll see what comes through, because we're both channeling. So it's not us. It's us just getting out of the way and allowing the information to come through from our higher selves, your higher self, your guides.
Do you want me to pull some cards too? We can do a current energy check-in about this now, or the Scorpio lunar eclipse, or both.
Yeah. Are you feeling that?
Yeah.
If it's in the intuitive flow.
Right. Do you want to check in first and I'll get some decks ready, or I can just go for it?
Yeah, just go for it.
Okay. All right. First I'll just yeah, let me go to the tarot, because I feel like we're in the realm of the tarot when we're with Scorpio, because the tarot has that wonderful depiction of dark and light, which is really cool. And this card is the Light Seers Tarot deck, and it really has such great imagery for, you know, it just really shows off the dark and light elements of the archetypes. It's really fun to see. All right, so let's see. What are we working with? What's the current energy? Actually, we're in the 9 of Cups. And this isn't a surprise, because I feel like this energy has been present for a long time. This season started in the spring, where people started to feel like a door opened to like that new earth energy, where they felt like they could intend something or wish it, and then it was so. It would happen. It would manifest. And I think we're definitely in that creative energy flow, where everything that our heart's desiring is manifesting. Simultaneously, there's a closing out, especially with a full moon and a lunar eclipse, of what wasn't working, that was pushing against the certain things manifesting for us in the right alignment. So I'm just going to see, like, what is the challenge? So the challenge is the King of Cups. So this is basically, the King of Cups is mastery of emotions.
I like that with that 9 and the Cups.
What?
I like it with the 9 and then the King of Cups. It's like a completion, or like this finding balance with the emotions, and finding a way to rise above, navigate it, to be the sovereign being with the emotions, rather than the dominant suppressive force. Like if it was, something else, like the moon or the devil or something. It's like actually embracing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Like, I feel like this energy is supportive. It's watery, so it's emotional. I mean, obviously, we already got 2 cups, And the King of Cups is somebody who has mastered the ability to like operate in an emotionally mature way. So the challenge is how, because it came out as the challenge card. So how can we navigate? It's almost like this energy of, how do you navigate the emotions that come up within you when your dreams start coming true? Can you accept it? Are you worthy of it? It's like,
that's scary. Like, I got everything I wanted. Now I got to sabotage it because I'm scared to death.
So the challenge is not to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like showing up as the sovereign king, the queen, the enlightened being, and everyone sees me and I got just what I want. And it pushes on all our programming. Like if we believe we're worthless and not good enough or unworthy, like we'll create that to destroy what we have. Time and time again, I've had that happen in my own life. It's like, why is it right when I get everything I want, it falls apart? And because there's a belief in there somewhere that I don't, like you said, I don't deserve this, or who am I to get this, or, it's scary kind of thing.
This is also the energy of Saturn in Pisces. So you've got Pisces as a water sign and Saturn in there, and it's this energy of navigating our emotions through and what we need and want, like our desires, with some structure and discipline. So for instance, it's what we were saying earlier. So when that devil energy comes up, or those addictive patterns come up that we were used to relying on previously, or tend to still, we can set up structures, healthy boundaries for ourselves so that we can ensure our own success. So Saturn wants us to be successful, but Saturn is the parent. So Saturn gives us the boundaries to be successful. So I know you want ABC, but you got to do it like this in order to achieve that. And then we throw the tantrum maybe for a minute, and then we realize that Saturn's right. So there's definitely like a loving guidance that comes from Saturn, and being in a water sign, an emotional sign like that, that's going to be like structure with our emotions. So yeah, we're feeling things, but how can we handle this in an emotionally mature way rather than like, doing what we did before, which didn't exactly serve us or the people in our lives. So it's definitely like a step in emotional maturity.
Yeah, I like this Saturnian energy. It's it brings in. When I did men's work a lot, we do these men's groups and do these initiatory practices like on weekend adventures, and it was like the bones, like the structure was what gave men safety when they experienced something really emotional, something really traumatizing from childhood. When they revisited that place, there was this fear of not being, this feeling of not being safe or exposed, and the structure of knowing what's coming next. And this is true in autism too, is like the person wants to know what's next. And if that's not there, it's kind of like you're in limbo and you're floating around. And that's also in line with this intuitive flow. Like intuitive flow, there is no real structure, like what we do here is we have kind of a structure. And then at some point we're like, no, we're just throw it all away and do our thing. And then when we get too far out into the ethers or whatever, you come back to the structure, what the illusion of the structure is. But that's what I love about Saturn is it's like a kind of stoic father that, he's always emotionally available, but he's there when you need him. And he's like in his office at his desk doing his work, and you come in to see him, and it's like, he's going to be there. He may not be able to talk to you and help you, but he's going to be there, and he's going to provide and all these other things. So there's this certain level of solidarity, very solid, very, very, I just appreciated that. But not always a whole lot of emotional support there. So it's interesting to have that, like you said, with the Pisces energy would be like that with emotion, like that with like, yeah, come here, sit down, let's talk.
Yeah, like I think that would be like Saturn and Pisces would be like choosing to talk to your therapist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else they want to tell us. Six of Wands, Three of Swords in reverse. There's been the strangest sound in the atmosphere today. It sounds like an owl, and it goes off every 15 minutes. And it's just like, woo, woo. I'm like, is it really an owl? Like, what is that?
There's somebody out there messing with me. There's some tweaker out there messing with you.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I want to get clarifiers for this. Okay. It's just this Pluto retrograde, which we just started at the beginning of the week, and Mercury retrograde energy. So instead of like, it's this energy of, instead of feeling like empowered and powerful by going out and doing what you normally do and being successful in the way your ego feels success can be identified through, we're asking to empower ourselves by letting go of doing and dropping more into being. So if you have a hard time with being, this kind of period or cycle can be very challenging. And then if you have a hard time with being with your emotions, it can be even more challenging, because what's coming up is the Six of Wands upright, which is actually a really beautiful card. It means success and victory. The Three of Swords is in reverse, which I think is nice, but the Three of Swords upright is heartbreak and something, a loss of something, according to the person experiencing it. So like a brokenhearted energy. But in reverse, it's this feeling of, I'm going to use this energy right now that is naturally supporting me astrologically and navigate this in a different way. So you have the King of Cups here. He's the challenge. How can we navigate this loss, this change, this ending of a cycle in a way that will help us grow into the next phase of our lives, that will help us find a way through into a next door opening? And then we also got the Knight of Swords, which is an interesting card to get, because normally with Mercury retrograde, and now we have Pluto retrograde, they tell you don't make decisions too quickly. Wait for more information before you proceed. It's not time yet to act. And you'll hear a lot of astrologers saying that right now. Don't make any decisions or act on anything in big ways until about mid-June, when Mercury's way out of shadow and when things are, we're outside of the energies of the effects of the eclipse. So to get this card, I think it's this. So we got underneath it the Two of Pentacles in reverse. We're not ready to make a decision yet. We're not ready to find that balance within, yet we want so badly to act in some way. It's almost like we're desiring some sort of congruency inside of ourselves, that we're wanting to make some sort of change or make something happen, that we're acting out of haste and out of impulse instead of, this guy's like patient. He's biding his time. He's churning the water. His eyes are closed. He's actually in a very internal meditative state. He's not going anywhere. He's just sitting. He's waiting for the waters to shift and change before he gets up and acts. And this guy's just running on impulse. And with Two of Pentacles in reverse underneath, I feel like this is energy of not yet, not yet. Like we just have to instead activate the energy of temperance, which is always the one cup pouring into another, which is symbolic of patience, compassion, integration, understanding the timing of things, taking that higher perspective, allowing our own wisdom to shine down upon the situation and through us, through our actions, and saying, this is not the right time. My ego wants something. My ego wants more. My ego wants to act. It's just, I know intuitively it might not be time yet. And so we keep getting this like pullback with the energy astrologically that says, hold up, wait a minute. It's like that.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. This is interesting. We got the High Priestess under the Three of Swords in reverse. Any thoughts on this, Jason?
Well, yeah, the Three of Swords stood out to me because, and just what I know about the processing of emotions in my own process lately, I've done it every other way, and now I'm doing it in a way that is really difficult because I'm so programmed that anytime, I've done my own reprogramming, that whenever an emotion comes up, I breathe, but then I start saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And I'm realizing it's not okay. Like I'm feeling something and I'm kind of feeling it, but not really. And so now it's letting go of the okay and just breathing. And so, with the swords, it's like this pain that, this mental, and with the, the King of Swords in there too, is like, this idea of the mental body going to be able to step in and make everything right, whether it's externally in the world or with our emotions that we're feeling. And it's like, we just got to feel it. There's like swords in my heart, and I got to like be there and pull it out. And a lot of those swords are these mental thoughts and ideas about who I am, what I should be doing, how much money I need, what I need to accomplish, who doesn't respect me, like all these things, all these ideas and beliefs that are like hindering this emotion that's really just, I don't feel safe, or I don't feel loved. There's all these number of things. Like when I did men's work with men, a lot of times it was like, and even with women too, we do co-gender groups, mixed gender groups. And it was like these core negative beliefs that would come up, these thoughts, these ideas that I'm unlovable, I'm not good enough. And then I forget what the other ones are, but those are like the two biggest ones that came through. There was about 3 or 4 on the regular that would come forward. And so that's what I'm seeing. And then with the priestess reversed, it's I was tuning into the priestess a lot like last week, which is interesting. It's coming up now, where there's like 2 aspects of her. There's the part that the world doesn't see, what's behind in the shadows. And again, with that subconscious and with the ability to navigate the subconscious. And so, and what and this may not be a traditional interpretation of that card, but what I'm getting honestly is that it's like the revisiting of unconscious patterns, subconscious patterns in a conscious way, and wanting it to go away and wanting it to be over, but needing to be with it and needing to feel it. And also getting a lot of insight, like, oh, this is what I really want. How can I create this? How can I do this? And that's that. I run out and do that thing so I don't feel this anymore. But I think we're being asked to just feel, to just breathe, to just be in the emotion. And honestly, it brings up more emotion. You're going to feel more emotional, and it's a pain in the ass. But again, it's what I've been told and what I believe and I choose to work with now is that's our power. This emotion coming back to us, this intensity is us, parts of ourselves, our child selves coming to us, to be with us, to be held, to just sit and breathe with them, rather than, oh, it's okay, that's not happening now, or but because in their reality it is happening, it is real, and that negates it. It's like textbook gaslighting. You're not experiencing that, you're fine. It's like, no, I am, and it sucks. So I know I was gaslighting myself a lot. And so I think that's my interpretation of it. And I appreciate you pulling the cards on it, because obviously I got my own things going on around this. And this is why, I studied tarot cards for a long time, but I never really did much reading as a reader. I would use them in my own life and in the session work I do, but not really as a full-on reader, because I'd get so emotional and so OCD in it that I would not be able to really feel my intuition and my guidance, because I would focus on the external cards and stuff. So, oh, hey, Carol. Thank you.
Wow, the energy is really strong today. Look what I got when I asked about the 3 of Swords in reverse and the High Priestess in reverse. We got the Lovers. And then when I asked about,
union.
Huh?
Coming into union, like the inner union.
Yeah. Yeah. So when the King of Cups comes up, it's like, I don't know. I mean, the work I did with my own therapist, what we realized was my inner divine masculine was the part of me that was frozen. So throughout whatever I went through when I was growing up, that part was the one that got beaten down into submission, that was frozen in fear from speaking its truth, from taking authority in a healthy and beautiful way in my life. And because of that, my chariot, right, the chariot in the tarot, was lacking direction, ambition, and energy to drive, and even, direction. It's like, the energy was just basically scattered. And so once we started working deeply on a subconscious level with the divine masculine to let it know it was actually safe and there was no reason for it to be frozen anymore, that was when I started to feel internally balanced, and like that divine masculine part of me started to light up. And then I started taking direct action in my life toward my goals, because without that, I didn't have that directive to steer me. It also wasn't telling me what I needed to do because it was frozen. So it was like I didn't know. I kind of know what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get there, and I didn't know which way to go. It was so soggy. So once we worked on that, and I started to get balanced more internally with my feminine and masculine, then I could see it was like the lights were turned on, and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, this is the way to go, and here's the energy to go that way, and here's the map. You can take this light, and then it started all coming. So then I started to feel internally integrated. So maybe it's this energy of how do we empower our inner divine masculine? How do we allow it to be that healthy, conscious authority in our lives? In balance. So it's not aggression, and it's not about self-centered action, but it's really about an act of service and an act of authority that makes us feel safe, that makes us feel like we have an avenue to walk and a place to go, and that we're protected. So it's really beautiful, because it's like if we can tap into authority in a new way that doesn't feel like abusive or violent, or that we're submissive in any way around it, but it actually feels empowering, that healthy divine masculine inside of us, then we can start to own our emotions, start to feel safe in our vulnerability, start to lead more with our hearts, start to follow that divine flow with our intuition, start to feel successful with our desires through our heart, and then start to attract situations and people that reflect an integrated state in themselves. So we're integrated and balanced, and then we attract those situations and people that are also in that state. So because when I looked into the Knight of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, like we want to act, but it's not time yet, and I asked for a clarifier on it, we got the Queen of Wands in reverse. Because when we're in a retrograde period, we're not exactly in our power, because part of our energy and consciousness is being used to deep dive into and to work on our stuff. So we're not completely accessible at that point in an outward way. We're more like, I need some of my energy right now for me. And some of it's on reserve. It's not about outward action right now. It's about inward flow and inward direction. So I think it's about going inside too and asking your inner child, like, what do you need right now? And allowing yourself to say what you need and then giving it to yourself. And that would be like honoring your divine masculine, because you would be acting on your intuitive knowing. The action is divine masculine. The knowing is divine feminine. So when you act on your intuition, they're working together in balance. And then there's that beautiful integration. So it just feels like that Gemini energy, the lovers, it feels like that.
Yeah. And how this relates to the new earth is, the masculine energy in both men and women that's been used to just plow through things, to do things we don't really want to do, to work a job we don't really like, because we need a paycheck and it just has to be done. So we just do it, and we don't always listen to our bodies, and we don't always follow our passions or our dreams, because, we got to be realistic. And, there's a lot of men that, that is their purpose. Like they work hard and they work all day and they come home and they, work in the yard. And same with women, like single mom and dads. It's a lot of this, we got to numb a part of us, and just do what needs to be done. And that's masculine energy, in my opinion, is like doing what needs to be done. And without the feminine balance, without the ability to feel, that's where things get out of, can get abusive or out of control, or detrimental to the body, is just, blindly pushing through, trying to accomplish things and not really listening, not tuning in. So my dream and my want and my vision I see for the new earth is that people get to enjoy what they do, that there isn't so much struggle to just pay to live on a planet, that there will be more grace and ease for everyone, and that there will be things that are quite revolutionary that are already out there that'll be launched with, like, so quick it'll just blow people's minds, like, oh really, that problem solved, oh okay, we don't have to worry about this anymore, that's great, how? It's like, oh yeah, there's this guy that had this thing for 20 years and they finally started using it. It's like, oh, we just did what is poised and ready to be launched whenever, however that happens, I don't know.
It was like, little did we know the problem was already solved.
Yeah, little did we know there was no problem, because there's a solution. In order for there to be a problem, there'd have to be a solution. It can't exist without the other. And yeah, it makes no sense to a certain part of us, but in other parts, like, yeah, right, there is no problems. It sure feels like it. Sure can get emotional though.
Yeah, and I know when I feel emotional, I do feel empowered. I feel like, I want to feel things. I think we want to feel things. Like, if we're not feeling something, at least for myself, that's when I tend to reach out. Like, okay, I need to get that thing. I need to feel that thing, or whatever it might be, that sensory thing. Mm-hmm. So when things come up internally, I'm like really grateful, because I'm like, I feel human. I feel alive. I feel rich. I have depth. This is the experience, and now what, but I was just going to pull some guidance cards from this deck. So we got the moon, which says, take note of intuitive messages. So definitely, like, lots of messages coming through dreams right now, or experiences in meditation. And then we got, this one says, autumn, release the old and rest. Mm-hmm. So again, with this rest, release energy. And then guardian angel energy, you are not alone. So asking for assistance and guidance from our guides that are always around us. So it's not like one of these periods where we've got the wand with the flame on the end and we're forging out into the world. I mean, we're in that period, but we're taking a break in that period. But that's the greater cycle we're in, which is new beginnings, new world kind of energy, living your truth, living your passion, service to others. But in the middle of that cycle, we're being asked to sit down, like take a break and rest our feet. And so I think when you're in the middle of like a dead run, the last thing you want to do is like sit down and rest your feet. You just want to get there. And that's what I see with this Knight of Swords energy. Wait a minute, I was headed somewhere. And Spirit's like, I know, but settle down. Like, you don't have to get there now, there's time.
That reminds me of like the ultra runners. You're familiar with ultra runners? They run like 100-mile races, like 100 miles. You just run it the whole time. Like, you can walk or whatever, but like, and amazing thing happens a lot of times. That there was this book, I think, called Born to Run. He talked a lot about this, and this tribe down in South America that they just run for fun, and they run really long distances. And but this phenomenon happens where somebody will run like 60 miles and then they'll just collapse. They'll just fall to the ground. They've depleted everything. They're just wiped out. And for like 5-10 minutes, however long, they'll just lay there, like utterly defeated in a sense. And then something happens. And there's like this welling up of energy and this strength. And I am getting tingles as I talk about it. And they get up and they run harder than they did before. It's weird. It's mind blowing. It's like, the power of our spirit and our ability to overcome and our ability to like channel. And it's really awesome. I'd love to do that. I'm getting old now, but like older, but it would be great to like train to be an ultra runner. But just to feel what that's like. I've had runner's highs before where I run and I can run full speed and I don't even feel my legs. And that's how I developed that third round of breathing and the galactic breath work, this double inhale breath. And because that's how I was breathing, just automatic. It was like my body was a machine, and I was just running full out, breathing like that for like a mile or two, and my legs were destroyed afterwards. But I did it. I had the experience. They were just sore. But that's what it reminds me of, is like really just going for it, getting on it and doing it. And then, okay, we're kind of like wiped out, and we needed to lay low. We need to just like regroup and then get up and go again, kind of thing.
I love that example. Thank you. I guess you would call that a metaphor, right? A metaphor.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's like, yeah, we're doing something. We just are being asked to take a break. And I think, when we're asked to take a break, the ego goes, well, I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to do the thing. And so, depending on how attached your ego is to the things you identify through, it'll be probably easier or harder for you to take a break. So if you can that's why I'm saying, get more into our beingness, just be. Just be.
That intuitive flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Be, and then trust you'll know what to do in the flow.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that one we got. Trust in higher forces.
Nice.
The shaman. But yeah, I think that was one of the ones we got in the reading I did the other day, the real.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that card, and just the shaman energy in general is like, whatever environment you're in it, and you have trust and faith that you'll be guided and that you're supported, even though it can be really dark and scary, and it can feel like you've lost yourself. You're immersed in this darkness, or even in this bright light, and you can't see anything in it. And it's like being able to navigate that from your own internal essence and connection, where the external doesn't even matter anymore. And yet the more we do that, the more we're able to navigate these different worlds, because the part of us inside is always the same, and we're always sourced, we're always channeling, we're always guided, and we have the faith and trust in that. Even though there'll be times when that trust may be lacking or not feeling as strong, it's still always there. That connection's always there. And everyone's a shaman, everyone's a healer, everyone's a master. And we came here to forget all that so we can have this experience.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing we have to remember too is, look at this card, pause to receive, and it says healing. Like one time I was sitting in meditation, and I didn't call this in or anything. And all of a sudden I heard light codes, which I still don't exactly know what the hell that is. I mean, I have an idea, right? Like, but in a way, you're kind of like, what the hell's a light code, and why am I receiving it? So it's like, anyway, I heard light codes.
We can give you like at least 10 different descriptions if you want.
Okay.
What's God?
Okay.
What's the universe?
Okay. So I'm like, sweet, that sounds cool. But I just heard it, and I didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, how do you experience it though? How did you experience that?
It was just like, I just got charged up. It was literally like this card. Like all of a sudden, someone was working on me, maybe my galactic guides, and I was literally getting a download, an upgrade, like your phone. And energetically, I was having all kinds of experiences, like kriyas, which is it could be a mental and emotional or physical reaction from your body where you move or you cry, or it was a whole body experience of like, but mostly what I was feeling was like I was receiving. I was sitting in meditation, so I naturally was open to receive. My ego was not in charge. I was in this alpha brainwave state. And they're like, okay, now we can give to you. So sometimes we're being asked to rest so that we can receive instructions or light codes or direction for that next step in our cycle. So it's not just for healing, it's also for activation or transmissions that want to come through. So if we can like slow down enough to be like, okay, maybe I need to open up to the higher levels and just see what is here for me, because we've done so much work. It's like you deserve that moment of your next level to come in. And sometimes we just have to like sit still to get this more subtle information that we need. So what is a light code, Jason?
Oh, I was more joking, but there's there's fire letters, light codes, DNA activation, I always see it as like basically something that's coming in, activating the DNA, which is what light projects through to create our physical bodies. Is this flow of energy going through like kind of like the old film projector. There's light going through the film, and then it creates this form and this image and this illusion. So I see it as basically like you could, if you wanted to make it a more tangible thing, like the DNA being activated and creating this alternate reality, a different body, different. I've even seen it in people where they actually physically change. They like look different. They hold themselves different. Their energy is different. Their whole reality shifts and changes. And you can even see it in an instant with some people with just the shedding of the worries and concerns. Everything lightens, and the more they do that, the more everything starts to shift and change. So, and then that energy you're speaking of is like feeling that running through your body all the time, and just feeling that light and feeling that essence. And I have stuff come at me sometimes in ceremony, or when I'm doing certain things, there'll be a darker energy or an energy of probably, which is me, I'm sure on some level, trying to suppress myself. And it's like there's this light now that I'm a light, and it can't really get in anymore. And so I just shine the light a little brighter, and I just be present. And then I feel and I communicate with what's there versus like, get away from me, and this is evil and this is bad. It's like, well, what is this? And it's like, oh, you're cool looking. Oh, this is pretty cool. What is this? Versus, oh my God, oh, what's happening? Like, that's what it used to be for me, is like, I'm being attacked and this is happening, which, that might be what it is, but now it's like kind of playful, and not that I'm inviting that, because it can get overwhelming for sure if there's a lot, whatever a lot is. Something my mentor works with is it's there's no big, there's no little, there's no a lot, there's no too much. It's like, is this big? And it's like, how about now? Is it big? Just this idea of it's all relative, whether something's big or small, and a lot or nothing.
Yeah. Well, let me see if they're going to give us anything about receiving, like what we might be receiving at this time.
You want me to pull cards on that one?
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
The Anubis Oracle. I'm going to do that one.
Yes, that's perfect.
So what they're going to give us, or what we're receiving?
Yeah, let's hear from the guides. I'm ready.
Truth regarding what we're receiving. So one card jumped out. Amun-Ra jumped out. Solar energies. Let's see the other one. Segment 2. Sothis. Cool. So got Amun-Ra, the solar energies. And so Ra is, of course, like the sun god, the sun energy. And Amun is like the sun at night. So the sun we don't see. So it's that whole spectrum of the energy of the sun. And basically like that light I was talking about earlier, where there's this eminence, there's this light, there is just the truth and essence of who we are. And that can never be diminished. It can never be destroyed. It'll always exist, always continue, even though, suns out in the solar system or whatever will eventually go supernova, but that energy goes somewhere else too. It opens a portal sometimes. So receiving that, the light, the inner light that you are, that cannot be diminished, that there's nothing that can overwhelm you in the deepest sense, that you are the light, you are the emanation, and that solar energy of the ability to project that out, and projecting, that sun doesn't really require changing anybody's mind or making things different. The sun just shines and people are drawn to it, or they move to northern climate, to get away from the sun, or they don't go outside, or, some people here in Hawaii, they don't like the beach. They don't like the sun, as odd as that sounds. And then the other card I got was Sothis. And so Sothis is like the stellar cosmic aspect of Isis, and basically the star consciousness, the generosity, the bodhisattva, the enlightened, like the star card in the tarot, where we get these messages, and again, the light and this ability to see more clearly. Oh wow, I see now, I get it. Where and with the love that comes from that, what every master has told us is the answer is love, the answer is joy and peace, which is always in us, and our star connection. So with the star and with the sun is these cosmic energies here now, got your back. It's different. It's going to be different. It may not feel different. It may feel the same, but this planet is changing, and there's a lot more support now. I feel it, because I would never have attempted doing this live a couple years ago. It wouldn't have worked. I wouldn't have felt safe doing it. And now it's like there's support for this, because we've chose a new reality where there's going to be less crucifixion, less harshness with people. We're going to start to realize that we're all connected, that we're all mirrors for each other. And even the black magic isn't going to work anymore, like, because it's going to be thrown right back at the person, because that is whatever it's being done is being done to ourselves. Like, that's what's going to become more and more evident. Just like before, in the time of forgetting, it was the other way around. We started forgetting that we're connected, and we started thinking we were more powerful or deserved more or could control things. And so that's like this cycle's changing again. And a lot of us are back for this change. I don't know how many times I've done it, but it feels like a lot. So, yeah, we didn't really get any readings today, unfortunately, but maybe next time. Deep and I did want to share, we're creating special offerings for the new earth, and for just to have more enjoyment in life and do more of what we are passionate about and co-creating. And so we're offering these galactic sessions, which are actually healing sessions that we do similar to the tarot readings and energy readings, but we also work with a bit of journey. And so it'd be a guided journey to your galactic self and helping embody that aspect of you. So we would tune into that with the cards, with the energy signature reading, energy harmonization, and then we take you on a journey to meet with your guides, with your galactic self, and then bring you back with gifts and more connection to those abilities that exist at your highest level. So that's something I've always enjoyed doing, is I can tune into someone's like ultimate highest aspect. And like my brother, he's like a star architect. I saw a vision of him being a star architect, like a being that creates solar systems and galaxies. And but here, he was a mechanic for 15 years, and he fixes houses up and sells them, and he loves figuring things out. He's really good at like just knowing how to fix stuff. And he built this chicken coop recently. He rebuilt this chicken coop, and it is the nicest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like this mansion chicken coop with like a chicken run and a caged area, and the little water dispenser thing. It's amazing. He's out welding his gates together right now. He got a wall built, and welding his own gate, and just somebody that really is good at figuring stuff out, like an engineer. And so I see that with a lot of people, as there's these aspects of them, and how it translates is always fun to see. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to Deepa or I, and we can share more information.
That's cool. I just started the Galactic Akashic Records reading course with Debbie Solaris yesterday. And a big part of it is, relearning and re-educating ourselves about galactic history and where we came from. And the first, one of the first modules she taught was about Andromedans and the Andromeda Galaxy, and how they were the ones who created the Milky Way galaxy. And so like they were the ones who were like the star architects, like you say. So I wonder if your brother's an Andromedan. That's really interesting.
Cool. That's why I love working with you, because you have like the pieces I don't, that's why it's such a great team, because it's like, it's just so rich. I appreciate it. I feel really blessed for this opportunity. And I feel so honored that people actually would listen to us talk, and it's of value. And because I really enjoy this, is really fun for me, and it feels really good. And I appreciate everyone that's here. Carol, Jacqueline, if you're still here. And I can't really see who else unless they're commenting. But anybody that tunes in later, thank you so much for watching. It's really a lot of fun to be able to do this, and hopefully it's helpful to you. And again, as always, just take in what resonates and leave the rest. We're just sharing whatever comes through, and it doesn't mean anything other than what our read is on stuff. So did you want to say anything else, Deepa, before we go?
No, I feel like we've said it. I feel complete, and I feel like we shared.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So it's been about an hour. This is great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Deepa.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
My pleasure. We'll see you guys.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Next week, we do not have a live, do we?
Oh, right. I'm doing an event, Kona side. We're doing a sound healing breath work, water ceremony on the 11th. We do it 11th every month. It's part of the Dr. Emoto's work where people come together all over the planet on the 11th and honor the water, which is so vital to life here. And so I'll be doing that right around the time we normally do the live, but we'll be back the week after. So we're going to keep doing this. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in.
Okay, everyone, have a beautiful eclipse and keep things simple. We'll see you soon. Aloha.